Hey everybody, this is the process that I go through when I learn a new loop tune. So I'm learning this song for a wedding that I've got coming up, and it's loopable. So I thought I'd actually film the process that I go through when I learn a loop tune. Basically what I do when I learn a new song is I sit in front of the laptop, I grab my guitar, and I pretty much just play the song and figure out the chords and the little structure and sequence to start with. So let's do that. And at some point we're going to change the key of this and we'll go through that as well, because there's no way I'm singing up there like Bruno Mars does. When I see her face. Oh yeah. Okay, so at this point we've probably figured out that it's 3 chords that just repeat and repeat and repeat, and which is great because we can loop them, which is F, D minor, B flat major, and another F chord, and that's the whole song. It repeats those chords. Step 1, tick. Step number 2 for me is figuring out those little melodic lines that are happening in that keyboard part and see if I can translate them onto the guitar so that we can keep some of the original flavour of the song. Let's look if we did it in a C shape. I'm just playing with what's going to feel easiest for my fingers here. So I'm going to get good at this because I'm going to want this to be a main part of my sequence. I like, where possible when I'm building a loop, to start the same way the song does, rather than start with building a groove, you know, for a couple of minutes and then building a bass line, and then people are like, what's happening? I don't know what's going on. So I want to start with just as it does in the song, so that they recognize it is the song that they requested to have as they walk down the aisle. It sounds the same. It's the familiar cues, and equally, because they're working to cues, I'm a little bit restricted for this one in terms of I need to start singing straight after this. So I'm already thinking a little bit ahead in terms of how I'm going to build my loop, but I really get to that at the end stage. This is just providing the basis of my loop learning at this point. And so now I can look at adding what the bass does and what the drums do. And that's usually my next step, which is step number 3, which is getting the groove. So I listen to the track again, and I just listen for the changes in the groove, and I'm just listening for the kick and the snare. She's so beautiful. So I've got the grooves down. In the verses, there's this little which is kind of like a little bit stilted, and then in the choruses there's really, the kick drum is just, and then we get this okay. So I think for the purposes of this, I'm just going to use the 4 to the floor for the whole song. I'll look at dropping out some sections later, because otherwise it's going to drive me insane, it's going to drive you insane, and it's going to drive everyone else insane if I use exactly the same loop with no stops or no gaps or no changes in dynamics for 3 or 4 minutes, however long the song is. For the bass part, I think I'm just going to use that very simple bass line that just sits under quavers or eighth notes or whatever you call them, depending on what country and style of music you learn. So Okay, and I know I can kick on my octave for that and get a nice bass sound, so that's in there. I'm obviously going to have the OC3 pedal on when I do this bass part into the loop and build that. So that's cool. Got those parts together. I think it's going to be a little bit thin in the chords by just playing this. So I think I'm going to have to fill out maybe just some chords held as part of the loop as I build it up, so that I can still have a little bit more love and a little bit more fullness to this loop. Okay, I don't really want to sing this song in the same key that Bruno Mars does, and because I've used a capo in figuring out a nice simple chord progression, chord shapes shall we say, that this little melody works around, I can just move this up and down. And at a guess from other stuff I've done of Bruno, I'm just gonna go right to open. Means I'm down at the first fret and I'm gonna play those same shapes. A C shape with that little first finger bending over the first string, A minor shape, same idea, first finger, and F major 7, again with that first finger bending over so I can get that melody. So I think I've got all the parts of the puzzle now. Now the sixth step for me is mapping out which channel do I put these tracks on, what order do I build them up, how do I get to the first chorus and have it come in punchy with something new that's like, hey, we've reached the chorus. Obviously this is a really nicely written song in that the chorus, the vocal line lifts up, so we're in a higher register and it kind of helps announce the chorus anyway. I should say at this point, this is all stuff that I do before I ever get the loop pedal out and try and actually loop the song. I don't need to touch that. I need to learn what the parts are and I need to get confident, get comfortable with them before I need to go and try and loop them and get them in time. So I'm going to be listening to this a bunch of times over and over and getting them tight and locked in, so that when I start I don't go and have that first loop be really awkward, so when I come in with a 4 to the floor groove, it's not going to be nice. Okay, so here's what I came up with. I'm running the Ditto and the OC3 right next to the iron there. Pro tip, always have your iron ready to straighten out any mistakes you might come up with. It's still a work in progress, but I think I've kind of got the basics of how I'm going to loop this down, and it's good practice for me really to give it a shot now with the words and have a crack. So this is what I do, and this is what I'm going to do on the day, is count the timing. I'll probably have my guitar muted and just get so that I've got that in my head before I start, because I kick the loop on straight as I start, so it'll be like 3 loop.
Her eyes make the stars look like they're not shining. Her hair flows perfectly without her trying. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Yeah, I know when I compliment her she won't believe me. And it's so sad to think that she don't see what I see. But every time she asks me, do I look okay, I say, when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, The whole world stops and stares for a while. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. Well, her lips, I could kiss them all day if she'd let me. Her laugh, she hates but I think it's so sexy. She's so beautiful, and I tell her every day. Oh, you know I'd never ask you to change. If perfect's what you're searching for, then just stay the same. Oh, so don't even bother asking if you look okay. You know I'll say, when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change. 'Cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. The way you are. The way you are. Girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. When I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while. 'Cause girl, you're amazing, just the way you are.
Alright, I think we got through it. Anyway, that's pretty much what I came up with. I don't think I'm going to change it much from that. I'm going to practice and I'm going to warm up my voice before I sing on the day, and we should be good. But that's the process I use when I'm going to learn a loop song. Often it's a little bit different because I have to change chords or figure out a few sections where the loop isn't perfectly the same, so you have to deal with that. And equally, I often will choose two separate loops so that I have different breakdown sections. But I think this works reasonably nicely, just adding in a few little guitar bits over top, so there's some subtle changes, building it up as I go, and then just right at the end, just coming back to a really chilled acoustic feel. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope maybe it helps you. Maybe you do exactly the same thing. Wicked. Maybe there's something in here that you think, ah, man, I could use that. And that's really the goal of me making this video. So I hope there's at least a few of you that go, hey, I could use that, and this video becomes useful to you. If you've enjoyed this video, then I'd love it if you gave it a thumbs up and a like and a share and subscribe. If you're maybe a guitarist or you like watching guitarists or you've ever met a guitarist, then, you know, whatever your reason is, that'd be cool. See you in the next one. Cheers.